Hi, my name is Dilip Ramachandran. I'm the CEO of the company Nimi, and we are a transformational company that's using technology and upskilling global workforce to improve R&D productivity. I'm also the author of this book, Gangsta Vision. And I wrote Gangsta Vision because I felt that as a product manager, especially in moments of uncertainty, there's nobody really there to give you the tips and the guidance to figure out what to do to survive these situations. And right now in this market, it is about survival. And it's also about thriving after surviving. And especially, if you're a product manager who's trying to become a senior leader, some of these leadership superpowers, this concept that I started in my readings, two readings ago, it's very important. I did an introduction to superpowers, and in the last reading, I talked about the superpower of curiosity. And in today's reading, I'll talk about the superpower of influence, which is a very important one. Okay. Some of the most successful leaders are extremely likable, approachable, and disarming, said Anurag. As we saw in chapter 9, there are some leaders like James Lamberty who give off authenticity. We would drop everything to support them. What superpower can you harness to do the same? Every human has some goal, a set of goals they want to achieve. When we come into a position of conflict with another person, we often block them from achieving these goals. By actively listening and creating space for others to share their needs, we get to unlock those needs. As a result, we can adjust our messaging to appropriately influence others so we can collaborate and work well together. In Johnny Harris's investigation of the ice cream machine breaking, he extracted knowledge from complete strangers. How is he able to do this? He's not compensating them as far as we know. And this is referring to the previous video that I just recorded a few weeks ago on curiosity. So go back to that one if you want to catch up on that. What we do know is they share Johnny's passion and curiosity to learn about and solve this problem holistically, and they trust that privacy will be protected. There's something in the way the conversation was set up that made them feel compelled to participate. Back in chapter 8, when senior leadership was introduced, we uncovered how building team culture gives you relentless will. This culture will help you create environments where innovation is fostered through collaboration. As a product manager who wants to break into senior leadership, you cannot rely on your merit to speak for itself. It just wouldn't be sufficient. It wasn't for me. You think it is, but in practice, it isn't because um, people want to follow leaders. They don't want to follow someone who they might consider as, hey, you just got lucky this time. They want to follow someone who has a vision, and that's why it's really important to zoom out a bit and communicate about your leadership at that level, and that's where you get the influence. Anurag shared his thoughts on meritocracy and its role in elevating people into senior leadership. Almost nothing is done through individual merit. It's a fallacy. If I look at my career progression, I got to where I am not through hard work, but through the relationships I've maintained and people that have helped me along the way, the people who took bets on me. By the time I became a senior leader in product management, I figured out how to create the environments that fostered the type of creativity and collaboration the best products needed to be successful. I knew I couldn't have all the best ideas. I certainly didn't have the time to become an expert exceptionally skilled at different aspects of the product. The only way to continue to grow would be through building a cross functional and diverse team. First, we started by accepting and identifying the gaps I had individually, the gaps the team had, and the gaps the product had. Everyone on the team was fully aware of these things. I partnered with other leaders to have really open discussions about the larger problems. This shared understanding strengthened our relationships. In such environments, the guard comes down. We had honest conversations about systematic issues in our product development process, architectural issues in our system design, skills lacking on the team, budgetary constraints, holes in the strategy, and so on. With the information asymmetry banished, we hired team members and made strategic bets to fill those skill gaps. And this is an important point here, when we talk about building teams. There's an idea that you have the budget, you put roles out there, you hire people, and then you kind of execute as a team, and that's certainly possible. You can do that, um, but you have to bring all these people, you have to train them, and they have to all work well together. In my experience, I've built teams several times. It really helps. This is the next super network, right? It really helps knowing few key people personally, and then they become your allies, and they become your extension of your influence in getting the strategy that you committed to done. Right? It's so important, and influence plays such a key role there. Several teams collaborate to operate as a unit. As senior leaders, we focus our energy on inspiring our team and provide air cover by educating the leaders above us with the value these teams created. We create positive environments where we manage and solve conflict within the team. The moment you figure out how to identify and use your superpower to advantage to influence other leaders, you're starting to make the mindset shift required for senior leadership. Mercenary product managers believe how we work with other humans doesn't matter as long as we create the work product. Don't believe that. True ownership requires product managers to be vulnerable, and in this process, it will create the trust for you as a missionary product manager to wield influence. It's a really important point. Now we'll go into the going gangster call out here. Going gangster. As team sizes become larger, you surely cannot remember everything about each person and their individual needs. Being the first one on one, during the first one on one with a member of my team, I create a profile for them. I formerly used the Apple Notes app and more recently Office Tasks, but I'm confident Excel spreadsheet would just work just as well. The type of metadata could look something like this when they join the team. A single summarized sentence of why they joined the team. What success for them looks like. For example, they may want to achieve a certain certification within a year. How do they prefer to communicate? Are they a phone call or an email person? Do they find Slack difficult to use? Are they a late riser or a morning person? You can document their typical schedule. This really helps with meetings. I had an example of an employee of mine who just wasn't a morning person, and it took me a while to figure that out. And I just learned to adjust around that, and the partnership and the productivity just skyrocketed from that. Such a simple thing. A list of recent issues they face so you know some hot button topics. And any other level of detail you feel would be relevant to learning about someone's needs. Ask them for feedback regularly so you can keep the most recent record of how they operate. You should review these profiles prior to a scheduled one-on-one. Over time, it will become second nature to you. That's the experience part of this all. You can repeat this activity with your peers. As you build a better understanding of the team you work with and share your wants and needs, you will grow your sphere of influence. So I hope that this is a very actionable uh, reading that you can implement today, you know, next week. Do it. It's a very simple thing. And you're probably already doing some portion of it, but I'm asking you to add a little bit of structure to it and rely on this profile as a way to get to know your team much better. Good luck. And until next time, unleash yourself with your gangster vision.